That's a fucking band, dude. Went to high school together. That's like, that's the dream, dude. Holy shit.
Dude, there were so many things about that are like, look back at it, you know, fucking 22, 23 years later, and it's like, that shit doesn't happen, right?
It doesn't. No, a common question I always get, you know, how do you meet band members?
Right.
You know, so the fact that you can even say, oh, we went to high school together. That is so rare, man.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I just went to shows and I met, you know, this guy, and it started a band around the same area.
Yeah.
You know, but you guys straight up went to high school together.
Pretty much. We can talk about that. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Johnny Christ, and this is Drinks with Johnny. I'm here with guitar player of Suicide Silence and the Garza podcast. Chris Garza, how you doing today, man?
Doing good, man. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Awesome, man. Well, we were just chatting as they all saw, because I'm just probably going to leave that in there. Just talking about the origins of our bands being both here from Orange County and stuff. Like we rolled in. I know you live right next to Showcase Theater, where I grew up seeing a lot of bands playing, you know, as you said, in front of like 20 people or less, dude. And stuff, you know.
I saw his band play in front of 20 people, and that's like I just this vivid memory of like the Rev having this crazy hair and like, who are these guys? And you know what? There's also, to add to that story, is I did kind of, it awakened something in me where like you could be a band and play Showcase or venues like that, and you need to stick out.
Yeah.
You need to fucking stick out. If you don't stick out, then like you're just gonna get lost in like what I call you're just gonna get lost in like the heaviness.
Right.
Because in Orange County and in an IE, like the local band bar was set extremely high. Yeah. So you know I kind of got it from you guys in a weird way. Like you guys got to when you play, like you got to fucking stick out. And then people keep coming out, and then before you know it, you're selling out Showcase, and before you know it, you're getting signed, and it was all from like. Started from right there. Like if we play this stage, we're going to stick out, and that's just it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of. I mean, you touched upon it right there. Kind of coming up in those, you know, the odd numbers of 2000s or whatever. I don't even know how the hell you call it. The 2000s.
Great beer.
All these. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's the Drinks with Johnny, filthy IPA.
Oh.
So.
That's filthy.
Yeah, it'll creep up on you too. It's a 7.6, but it drinks like a 6.
I always say don't drink more than 2 of those kind of beers. Always drink 2. People always want to be, oh, it tastes so good. I have a 3rd and a 4th. Like, dude, stop. Trust me. Like,
yeah, no, I know that all. I know that all too well. Yeah. Hence why I'm on the wagon.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I mean, just going back to that time coming up and playing Showcase early on, and just. As you mentioned, Orange County, the bar was set really high for everybody, right? I mean, there was a lot of great hardcore bands.
You have Atreyu,
bands,
Bleeding Through. You guys, like top tier metal, dude. Top tier.
It was all coming out. We were a little earlier, like literally like at the turn of 2000s, like 2002.
Yeah.
I joined the band in 2002. They formed in '99. Mm-hmm. So and Atreyu right around the same time. And then you guys formed in 2004, is that right? 2002 you formed? Okay.
2002 was the first, I guess, official
lineup.
Is like, this is the band name, the first demo is out, and we're on, do you remember notpop.com?
Not Pop. That sounds familiar.
It was like a Redlands website, but if you got your band to be like the monthly band, back then you like made it. And that was like probably the first demo. And one day I wake up and I go to notpop.com, and boom, there it is. Suicide Silence Stand Strong. I'm like, we made it! Oh my God! So many people are going to hear about us now. And that's really. And then that happened, and I met Mitch right after that, and then it's been a fucking whirlwind ever since then.
Oh yeah, for sure. You guys done a lot, and as you said, coming in here, being from Orange County, you were just down on Main Street because you said Mitch was down here a lot. Obviously, he lived down here for a little while, right?
Yes, he lived in Huntington Beach for quite some time. He moved from IE, more so like the Riverside. He was on the street right where Corona meets and Riverside meets. He lived on that street, and then which is why people say that we're from Riverside, but we're actually from Corona. But
Okay.
he was on that fucking spot. I'm like,
That's
man, why
right
just
on
fucking
there.
move the Corona, motherfucker? But yeah, he moved. When we started touring, he moved out here. So when I'm on Main Street, which is kind of rare, you know, I just kind of.
So that makes sense because I mean, there was a little bit. I don't know if you're familiar with a little bit of the connection between Mitch, not just from being from Huntington, but actually his ex Jolie. I knew her from middle school. Actually, I was.
Oh, wow.
I was playing football for a junior All-American Pee Wee team, and she was on the cheerleading squad.
Oh,
so
shit.
I've known her forever. And then there was the Revolver, I believe, Revolver magazine, where we had like models with us, and we were all like lighting up cigars and stuff. She was part of that as well.
Oh, wow.
So so that's Mitch's baby's mama, you know.
Yeah.
And so there was a little bit of a connection there, and I remember hearing of Mitch's passing and being, and obviously it was right here in Orange County as well in the motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
Very tragic. Obviously, we're all feeling for that. That was at a crazy time, man.
Yeah, I believe it was on Main Street, and again, like when I'm driving up here, I'm like, oh shit. I mean, it's funny when you come out here, you always end up on that street, and it is kind of it always brings back like that memory, you know. It is always
the accident was on Main Street.
I believe it was on Main Street.
Okay.
I mean, we're going on, which I did also research too. Like, we're going on 10 years. November 1st, he crashed on Halloween night, so that's so we're going on 10 years.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow, man, that went by fast, but.
It went by, I mean, it does not feel like 10 years. Like I'm sure you could like relate to that. Where Rev is going on 13 years.
Yeah,
you know, so it's 12.
Was 13 years. Yeah, that was. It was crazy when we heard the news about Mitch as a band. It was kind of crazy. We just started getting back into things after the Rev had passed. Like you know, we did the Nightmare album, finished that up, and I think chronicled a bunch of times. We had to take steps to get back out.
Yes.
Because it wasn't an easy decision to continue on as a band. Did you guys? I mean, you said that you met Mitch in that 2002 forming of the band. That's like when you guys met? You did, and was it really just to create the band, or did you guys have a friendship before that?
I met Mitch actually in my garage, which is the same garage we still like practice in and write our records in, just to maintain like the behind the scenes. Let's keep the core of this until like we feel we could kind of branch out. But he was in a band called Dying Dreams, which is like at that time like the local like, oh, you got to hear this fucking singer, dude. You got to hear this singer. I'm like, all right, you know, it's like, you know, you're fucking, I don't know, 14, 15, you're a hater. Like, oh, fuck that band. It's all about my band.
Yeah.
But then I heard his band Dying Dreams. I remember hearing his voice. I'm like, damn, he's sick. He is literally like the sickest. I'm just like, his highs from the demo literally is still kind of ingrained in my brain. And then I met him through our first singer. He's like, oh, we should have like him, you know, come up for a song. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. Because at that time, like Point of Recognition was like popping, like the whole like two singer thing.
Right.
And he's like, dude, we should have two singers. I'm like, I don't know about that. And then one day he walks in the garage. That's when I officially met him, as opposed to me being at a pit and like covering my face from his head kicks. I'm like, oh, it was that guy. Okay, oh, cool. And met him there, and then he eventually became an official member of the band, and that was it.
Yeah.
Once you hear his voice, I heard his voice over that. It was it.
Yeah.
Like,
and then obviously created a brotherhood in that.
Yes.
So I mean, as you said, I bring it up to show some empathy on it, like losing someone like that. I mean, losing the Rev was, as we talked about before, was more than just a band member. It was a brother, because we were friends since I knew Jimmy since I was in kindergarten. He was like in third grade because he was friends with one of my older brothers. But I bring all that up to show empathy and ask the question, like, did you as a band have to take those steps as well to like see if you even want to continue as Suicide Silence?
Yes.
What were those steps for you guys? I know you did the live record where you had a bunch of guys come up and sing songs for the charity for Kennedy and stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah, I mean the fans came out for that one. Like they bought shirts, and that show obviously happened. It was a Fox Theater, sold out, just to honor his memory. Mitch and all these singers flew out. It was crazy shit. Like, And literally right after he passed away, it was like this idea kind of spawned. We all got together a few days later, and at the time, we always had our band meetings at Buffalo Wild Wings. We always went there, always went there. And then we went there again, started talking, and this idea just came, like, let's do the show, get a bunch of singers, our friends, and then just do it. But it's a thing I don't share too often, but I mean, I was the only guy in the band that was there when he passed. It was in the Irvine ICU. I was Halloween night, for some reason I didn't drink, and I just got the call from Jerry, he's our manager, a day one guy. He's still with us, and got the call, and your life has changed. And it happened. Like he got in a crash on his bike, and then I was right by my house, and I went straight to Irvine. There was no thought in my head or question. Like I gotta go. I have to see what the hell is going on. And it was just me, our manager Jerry, and Mitch's dad, Kip. And then I just kept getting bad news. You have it was a span of 8 hours just waiting to get updates.
Yeah.
And then things you don't really realize until you're there. It's just it's a movie. You're kind of allowed to be there when it happens. So when you get you hear the sounds, the lights going off, and the doctors are freaking out. You're just kind of there in the room. You're it just doesn't seem real. It's like a movie.
Right.
And then obviously he passed away, and to see someone fight for their life as your best friend or your brother and your singer, a dude that you were joking around with a week before, like always do, I knew then, the band's not stopping. There's no way.
Yeah, it was an instant.
It was an instant it kind of that memory popped in there. You can't control your thoughts when something like that happens.
No, not at all. No, it's just you're reacting.
You're just reacting, and okay, then the thought popped in there that day, and then it hasn't left since. And then and from experience with that kind of stuff, you can't keep that stuff a secret. And it literally, I went from the hospital that morning, right after that happened, and went home to Corona. That's a 30-minute drive, and then someone got wind of it, and it was all over the internet.
Yeah. So
there was talk about it's just no grieving time, no nothing. Someone got wind of it, posted on Facebook, and then the news sites, and I'm getting phone calls from people I never talked to in my life. It was nuts, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hash up old memories there,
it's
but
fine.
I do know that sometimes it's good to talk about, especially when you're coming up on the 10 years. I mean, for us, getting through a lot of that over the years has been sharing the fond memories that no one else gets to hear, when we're just talking to each other and stuff. And there's always you kind of laugh and celebrate the life is the only thing you really can do at this point, right?
Of course, yeah, of course. And then you had the steps, obviously, who's gonna do it?
Yeah.
who's gonna
big shoes? Yeah,
those are insane shoes. And then we did that show, and some people think it was said there, but it wasn't Eddie, obviously he did a song and he killed it. He sounded phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of time has passed, and then I don't know whose idea it was to hit up Eddie just to see what it sounded like. They have someone else's voice over our music, but hit up Eddie, and he said, yeah, he sent over this track. It was him singing over You'll Only Live Once, and then I heard it. It's that's him. If it's not him, the band's not gonna go forward.
Wow.
And I say that very often. If it wasn't Eddie, people will throw names at you, but if there's someone that's gonna take it on the road, and that knew Mitch, that knew our history, where we come from, our same age group, that's gonna fucking go through this war with us, which is that's what it's been since then. It's been a fucking war. That's gonna go through it with us. It's gonna be Eddie, and if it's not Eddie, another person will not be able to handle that. And sure enough, Eddie slowly came into the band after that and felt everything. When you bring someone else new, everything has to feel right.
Yeah.
It has to feel right. And sure enough, got Eddie in, it felt right, he has the history. Cheesy stuff too. Like we were in like group therapy. It was like we saw like a grieving counselor here in Orange County.
Oh, you guys did that as a band?
Yeah, a whole band, just to kind of get our heads straight.
Right. No, I'm sure that was really helpful. That's
it was. Idea. It was. You know when you hit like the roads, like there's nothing can prepare you for like the emotions. Like
it's that first time on stage without him.
It's nuts, dude.
I'll never forget that. Like there's a lot of things you'll never forget, but that one is just like.
The first one's always rough, and then like you obviously it's been years. But you still kind of look. Something I do. I wonder if you do it. Like you kind of just like look like behind you. It's like fuck.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's been
it's insane.
It's been a while for me in general, but yeah, like when we were on the road and just looking back and stuff, it's like and to that point, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of your guys' shows or anything like that since. But for us, like we would put stuff on our backdrops and stuff, and still to this day, we'd like to keep the memory of Jimmy alive in our band. I mean, he was for all the right reasons, and obviously, he needs to be a part of this still for it to continue on. And sometimes some of those days are harder than others to look back at those screens and see images of him. So I don't know if you guys do you guys incorporate him in the show at all, or in any facet of that other than just homage? Yeah,
I mean, obviously we'll probably talk about it on stage. Eddie does it quite often, and then that the reaction actually has been changing as far as like the fan base. I mean, it's like people like get reminded, oh shit, like Eddie's up there because he died. Like people kind of get reminded. You kind of see different reactions as the time has passed, and like, oh shit, like that's why they're still here. Like he passed away. And Eddie will just talk about it on stage like a little bit, and that's it. I saw you guys on the Uproar tour because you're in a band and it's just tough to keep up with like what everyone else is doing. Right. Like you're just doing your own thing, and like I lost, I don't know. We were just on tour, and years passed, and I haven't seen you guys in a long time. And then I go from like seeing you guys at House of Blues, and now I'm at like I'm in Irvine Amphitheater now. And it's like and to see like. Yeah, I mean, maybe because I could like relate to that, which we've done before. Like you have a backdrop there. I'm like, damn, that's just heavy, dude. And to see a band lose someone and then on it even more is what I'm fascinated with, because I know what it took to get to that point. So for you guys, when I saw that, it's like that's why they're playing better than ever. I know what they're feeling. Like when you come back, it has to be. You have to bring it even more than when you had them. Yeah, I think for me, I think personally it was a lot of just the emotions come through when you're playing. And that's not just a lot of people would say, oh, that's just like when you're on stage. Like, no, I mean like the preparation behind. Like when I was rehearsing by myself in the room before I even rehearsed with the rest of the guys, and then that whole system of emotion comes through in the playing. Yes. And I think that was definitely the case for myself. I can't speak for everybody who's gone through that or anything like that, but that was definitely the case for me. I think coming back and playing, it wasn't like a conscious effort of like, well, now we got to step it up because we got someone falling. It was like, I'm just being right now, and this is how it's coming out. Yeah. Yeah, and then you kind of make it to, hopefully, to the fans that are listening to your band, or like you kind of make it look seamless, but you can't. It just sucks that someone has to die for you to bring out that fucking emotion, It's just like, dude, like, that whole touring cycle, like our first tour was Australia, and you guys were on it. I think Mark mentioned, or our guitar player mentioned, like he was at like a spot and talked to Matt about it for a while. Because obviously, there's that instant, like you only talk about it to people that actually have experienced that. Right. So I heard that Mark and Matt were talking about it, and it was Soundwave Festival, a massive festival. Like Eddie and us got thrown to like the dogs straight out of the gate. Boom! All your first shows in front of like 10,000 people. It's just like, and then that's where it happened, and then we went to Europe for a quick month, and it's funny. It goes to your first question. I don't even know how we prepared. It's just it was just so quick. Once we found Eddie, it was just like
just everything just started going.
It's like once you start going, you're going.
Yeah.
And then we locked in 3 tours. It was Soundwave. It was Europe, and then we did the Mayhem Festival with you guys in Korn.
Yeah.
And Cannibal Corpse. And it was like these 3 best case, biggest scenarios that you could throw Eddie in. I mean, here you go, and us, and like it was.
And it worked out.
A lot, yeah. It was a lot. Maybe in hindsight, I wish we did it smaller, but that's not life.
You do what you gotta do.
you just get thrown into it.
Yeah,
it's fucking nuts, dude.
I mean, for us, I know that a big part of it was the fans and family.
Yeah,
that was it. Friends, fans, family. I consider them all the same at this point.
Yeah.
After having gone through that more than ever.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys had a lot of that, the outpour of fans asking for you guys to continue as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they were, for us, I'll only speak about myself a little bit here just to show the comparisons and stuff. But like the fans' outcry was more. It was really awesome because it was very respectful too. It wasn't like we need you back out there. It was like if you guys feel you can continue.
That's cool.
Know that we would be here
cool,
in support.
Yeah. You kind of look back at those moments like and there's like a fan base that like, oh wow, they like support us. Then they become family, and then you see them out on the road and you're talking like real people that used to be just usernames,
right.
and then you get older and then you're just talking to these people like what this, because you get like obviously you get like the negative comments too, and it's so much louder. But
these days too.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you read the comments or hear something about.
Oh my goodness.
They're not the same since.
Yeah. Sure.
It's like.
Sure.
Well, I mean that's kind of pointing the obvious though too. Like we're not the same since, one of our founding members is gone. We're not. No, duh. Like
it's like what do you want us to do, man? I mean,
we're not the same. Okay.
Yeah.
But
And then I learned, unfortunately, something so tragic that we got lucky, and there's the real fans really stuck by us and bought their first record, Eddie, and everything had to feel right. Everything felt right, and then we did throw around a couple names, and they just didn't feel right, so we didn't do it. Obviously it's common sense, but Eddie came in. I keep telling Eddie, man, like if it wasn't you, we would not be a band, because you're literally the only guy on the planet that could do this, as far as your voice, as far as your history with the band and Mitch, your experience on the road, and Suicide Silence is like we're a full-time band. It's full time. It's all, so who's gonna, obviously people say they can do it, but when you're in it,
there's a lot of sacrifice still on every level.
Totally. Still, I'm 36 and I'm still making sacrifices because of how much I love it, and and then it made me realize like there's so many things about the band that no one knows about. Like we did a pretty horrible job like telling our story. And I realized it really came to head like, oh shit, like no one knows how the band started. No one knows like like a lot of stuff. So like, I mean, Suicide Silence is me and Mitch. Like it's like when it was like two souls. It's so cheesy, but like I found someone that like, oh, you share the same obsessive passion with putting out the heaviest shit possible, but catchy. He got it, and obviously his talent like it spoke for itself. But like once me and him formed, like we started poaching other guys in other bands
from the scene around here, right?
Yes. So who's the best in that band, or who's the best in that band? So I started poaching guys, and like shit. Like once and he passed away, no one really knew, like, can a band keep going, or like how is this real? Is there a soul in this? But yeah, if I wasn't in the band, or if we didn't have Eddie, like, we would not be. The band name will go away. I would, if I ever, and it's a conversation we have with most of the guys, like if I ever feel like this is not right, I will take the band name and it's over. Yeah. It has to feel right. It has to, because, if you push things too far, then you're not going to honor Mitch. And you're going to disrespect the thing that he built and practically died for.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I mean that's. I can understand that and why you would do that. I mean that's exactly right. You know, you go on, you might do something. You know, you do something else, you move on. It's probably still music, whatever it might be. It's not a retirement, but it's definitely like this is still Mitch's band, right?
Yes,
you know?
To me. And I wasn't planning to ask you this on camera, but I mean, this is life.
Yeah, I'm just setting for it.
You know, sometimes you want to take things too far. I'm like, obviously Mitch is still in the band, to me. He's always going to be the singer of the band. I mean, you could be AC/DC, you're not going to take out like the first singer, just not.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like wanted to put his name in like the credits still. You know, I was like, I wonder what like you think about that. Like, we do take it too far sometimes. Like, I mean, but to you, like, I'm sure the Rev is like, he's always going to be the drummer of Avenged.
Right.
Always, like, no matter what.
You want to put his name? I'm sorry, where?
In the credits of band members, not past band members, but in band members.
I mean, I think that's entirely up to you and you guys. I mean,
True.
I mean, who are the credits for? For you guys. Let's be real. They're for the people who care. No one's reading and going, oh, you know. I don't think anyway. For me, it's about what it means to you. If it means something to you, then fuck yeah, you should put them in there.
That's cool. Yeah.
You know, like that's where it's the same with music. It's the same with everything, man. If it means something to you, you should do it. Like, don't worry. You'll get caught up in all that other nonsense.
Yeah.
And because guess what? Whether you do it or not, they're still gonna have something to say.
Oh, of course.
So you just gotta do it for yourself. If it's something that you're feeling, then I would say absolutely you should do that.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I haven't really had the opportunity to talk to anyone about this because, you know, again, like it's only like a few bands out there that could that have dealt with something like
I mean, there's you're going back to what we were talking about, where there's still going to be those loud voices saying they're not the same since and blah blah blah, and like, oh, all they ever do is talk about them and stuff like that. It's like, well, fuck you. You haven't been through it.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's okay that you haven't been through it, and it's fine. It's fine. This is what this means to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people lose sight, and I understand why it's easy to do, of why we started doing music or this art in general. It was for our passions, what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
We're not a service industry, you know, like, I'm sorry to say it, but like, we're not here to service your needs.
Yeah.
We're artists creating for ourselves, and we're thankful for every single person that enjoys what we do, obviously. Yeah. But it's for us. You got to remember that, and you got to remind yourself sometimes, because a lot of times with certain levels of success too, it starts to get in the way. Sometimes you're like, oh, I got to chase that a little bit. Yeah. And I've seen it a lot, but you know, at the end of the day, I personally feel you got to do things 100% in this stuff for yourself.
You have to, and that's what actually, oddly enough, that's what makes the music for the fans.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a weird thing. Like they'll say like, oh, what, you're in it for yourself, but no, you don't get it. Like that's what makes the music sound that way. That brings in the people that like that sound. It's so weird. Like it's funny that people always say like, oh, you know, go back to the first record, or I mean, it's always like that. But to me, it's like, fuck the first record. You're not going to go back to the first record, because if you had to do that, you have to get the mindset up before the first record, because that's what made that record. Right. So I'm like, well, and the best advice I ever gotten was very recently. We did our new record with Taylor Young.
Name sounds familiar.
SB Nails used to be in Twitching Tongues.
Okay.
He's a phenomenal producer and mixer, and he knows heavy. And he said it doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn, I never thought about it that way. Like, it's always like the simple things in life where someone tells you that a couple words that really always pierce you. And to me, that was when he said it, and I respect the fuck out of him and trust him. Like, if he says that, I mean, it's completely changed my life. It doesn't exist anymore, because I put too much thought into it, and then it ruins the music. Actually, oddly enough, if you put too much thought into it or see it, it just does not do anything for the music. It makes it worse. And oddly enough, you know, it's like you just ignore it and everything gets better. It's so weird.
I mean, yeah, because you're not going to go back to your point. You can't go back to the way that you felt. I mean, that's
you can't.
You're a different person. Like you're still the same person. I don't mean completely different, obviously, but you're very much. We all grow. I mean, hopefully, you all grow as an individual. You know, you still learn things. You mature. There's different life things that happen. I mean, we're talking about one major thing that happened in our lives, each of us, that were different, but have a lot of similarities. You know, and those are things that completely change people's lives. And that's another thing that people, you know, that you just have to understand, like, you can't go back. Like, that's not, I'm learning that struggle too in just personal life, not in music life or anything like that, but it's also true in personal life. I'm finding for myself is once that shit's gone, it's gone. You learn from it and you move on. You can't go back. We don't have time machines. So like once it's happened, it's happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. You're just not the same person, you know. But unfortunately, like with the obviously going back to the tragedy, is it really. And the thing I bring up too is just I told people, like, if it wasn't Mitch, it was gonna be somebody else, and I was right behind him. You know, if unfortunately as human beings, I don't know what it is about how we're wired, but you need something like to shake you up. To change you. If it wasn't that absolutely extreme, I don't think I would have changed. You know, I was definitely like a piece of shit, you know. And then it took something that extreme to like change your
I think if we're all honest, everybody in every walk of life needs that slap upside the head. And you know, you don't, obviously it's not that you want it to happen. It just that's, again, it's growth. Like that's part of what changes things, you know. And to your point, like you feel it would have been you, I feel it would have been me. If it, you know, it just
totally.
But that's not what happened on this. At this occasion, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Totally. And fortunately, it took that, and then that's trickled down later in my personal life. Like, you know, you're just trying to get better as a person, to be a better bandmate, and to keep the band going has really, I mean, honestly, it's driven me to complete like insanity. Like it's trying to keep things going and trying to make sure the music is best the way it is. Make sure the name has the integrity that it had since day one, to honor obviously Mitch and the band name, and honor the fans that have fucking tattoos on them. You're just like, everything has to be right, and to make sure that was like going as this.
Do you ever feel like does it get easier? Are you able to take your foot off the gas every once in a while, or are you still feeling like you need to like see everything meticulously?
Yeah. Actually, I learned that very recently. Because Mitch happened, then like a few months later, me and my fiance split, so kind of lost everything at once.
Oh shit!
And then
sorry.
That's fine. No, I mean, like we like broke up. I was like I was a shitty guy. I was drinking. I want to drink out with my buddies all the time, and it was like, you know, when you're going to the on and off time, it's over.
Right.
But I was like, oh shit, all right. And then I told myself, if the band's gonna keep going, I gotta be single for years. I put everything I had mentally, emotionally, to make sure things were right. And yeah, I was single for 6-7 years, and I've been dating my girlfriend now for close to 3. And I learned the hard way, like when you do things alone, you can only take it so far.
Yeah. And
she's really taught me to, like, you know, I needed help as far as like get like, you know, calm down a little bit, get things more straight, ask for help, you know, from like either whether it's like a manager, or a bandmates. She's been helping me with a lot of stuff as far as business or mentally, and it's like, oh shit, like take your foot off the gas every once in a while, you know, let things be. Learn to. It took her, because I mean, I don't want to get cheesy, but I love her very much, and it took me a while to do, because you know I think artists in general, guys in bands, definitely like or girls, they have like these. There's a reason why you do that stuff. Like there's like some deep like abandonment issues there somewhere. And I think that stops people, because I know from experience, it stops you from loving people, you know, because you don't want to get hurt and then have another person walk out of your life, whether it's your parents or whether it's your best friend dying. It's like people that are close to you that take off, like that wires your brain in such a way that fucks everything else up.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah, totally. And then she really taught me, like, really, like, you know, like to love again. And then once I was vulnerable, and I was like, I let feelings have their way, and I let my body actually love something, someone. That really opened the door with a lot of things. I started trusting my band again, like really trust them, like really everything. Like I trust Mark, I trust Dan. To our producers, Taylor Young, our manager Jerry, our new drummer Ernie, especially Eddie. Like, I thought I did, but I didn't. I was wrong, and all this resentment, this left me when I let this. I love the person. This opened up this kind of worms, and now I just trust everybody. And ever since that's happened, it's been great. Letting my foot off the gas when it's time. Let other people use their strengths in their band, is let them be them, and they let you be you. Yeah. And love also tied into I learned that I had an ego. Oh yeah. I was like, oh shit, dude, like I have a massive fucking ego, and I always didn't know because it was just different. It was a quiet ego. It was just different. It was different.
I'm glad you brought it up, because there is that's something I've gone through in the last 4 years, being home and stuff for that time. And you do realize, like, I always thought of myself as very down to earth and salt of the earth kind of guy and everything. And then when you're faced with it, you know, it can be a quiet ego. And not all egos, I'm learning through therapy and books and stuff. Not egos are bad. You know, you do need. A healthy ego is something that everyone should have, not just in a band, not just anything. Yes. But yeah, when you realize that there's a little bit of that, like, kind of spilling off into places you don't necessarily want it to.
Oh yeah, and that's what happens.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that for you. How was discovering that, and what was the catalyst?
So obviously ego, I think, also breeds like resentment, and I'll resent past things that the band had done, or you make, you know, as an artist, you make up these stories in your head that aren't even true. You're just like, fuck that guy. But then once, like, I really looked in the mirror and said, all this that's not going right in the band currently, this shit's my fault. It's my, I let it get this bad. I'm taking full responsibility. And once I did the work to drop the ego, something fucking fascinating happens, and that other people drop their ego as well. Yeah. And I realized, with shout out to Jocko Willink, it was a book that he has. And when he asked, wait, is it me? Yeah. Because I'm always pointing the finger, it's them, or it's her, or it's him. Like, wait.
Which is easier?
Yes. That's the easy part. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, dude. This is me. This is all me. This is my fault. And then once I accepted the fault, and obviously I was dropped on my fucking knees, and you're forced to be humble at that point. You're like, I don't know shit. I don't know what the hell is going on. And then once I dropped the ego, and other people, even I guess you could say the band, I dropped the ego, or any ego they thought they had, and everything got better. The ego dropped, trust went up, the music got better. It's just all these things have happened. I don't know, I guess it stems from fear. You know, fear of.
Oh, of course.
Fear of being vulnerable, fear of losing. Like, you want to see your band members, you just want, don't fucking leave me. You're in this band for life, you motherfucker. Yeah. But then once I just let things go and not be afraid of love, which is cheesy to say, but
Don't worry, we'll put background music in that part for you.
Cool.
Yeah. Cheesy background music.
Yeah, shit. I mean, it's been shocking, and then you start.
You said that was recently, right? Because I mean, you said since the tragedy of losing Mitch, you guys have done like 3 records, right?
Yes.
And then you did a re-release of The Cleansing.
Yes.
Earlier this year.
Yes.
So, and then you're working with Taylor Young, and that's on something that's coming out later?
Yeah, it's coming out, dropping the first song in August 31st, and we're all super stoked for people to hear it.
Yeah.
It's super, it's recent, like 2 years ago, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, that all happened, and then everything started to fall in line. Because like, for example, like when you have like a song, like the song's there, like the video kind of falls into place, things kind of fall into place. And when you have like that special song, like it's kind of like, I'm noticing it now, like once you started fixing things or behind the scenes, I started fixing things that were broken, things with the music started to really connect. And it's been fun to kind of re-experience those feelings of, loving the music again, loving the band again, and our songs and how we write songs, and because we're, I guess you'd say we're old school. Like we write a record in the room still.
You were saying in the garage, right?
Yeah,
you still do that.
We're in a garage, and until we're ready to branch out, but we're not ready yet. At the same garage we wrote those demos and those records, we're still in that room, and just kind of a behind the scenes core that I want to really maintain currently. And then still we're all in the same room together, the drums, and you're going deaf and you're older, but you're still like, you're just looking at each other, and there's a little bit of conflict here and there, but there's just no denying that when we get in the room together, something special happens that we can't do by ourselves. And it's just kind of cool to go back to that. It's back to us being kids, stupid kids, just playing music. It's fucking cool, man. It's fun. It's fun again.
Break when it's too hot,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That fucking hot ass garage. I recently put an AC unit there last year. 20 years too late, but hey, I mean, it works.
You got it now. You need it.
Yeah.
I remember just bringing out the big fans in the back for like Jimmy or like different drummers when I was in garage bands before.
Yeah.
In high school and shit. You just always put the big old fan and then have to take breaks, open it up and shit.
Yeah. It's a cool time, man.
What were some of the early stuff you did as a guitar player, like just picking up the guitar for the first time? I mean, you're talking about playing in garage bands and shit like that. Like how many different ones did you create and be a part of?
There's a few bands. I used to play bass back then. Like whenever there's a shortage, you just kind of do that position. Like I didn't play bass, but I played bass in like a death metal band and like a new metal band back in the day, like around Corona and like Whittier area, and then got pretty much kicked out of both of them. I just wanted to be heavy as possible. Like I want to combine blast beats, extreme blast beats with the most extreme, over-exaggerated breakdown. Combine those elements, because back then nobody was doing it.
Right.
It was like now it's pretty common, but I took that directly from Korn. Like that extreme dynamic, the flow in the songs, like that comes from Korn. I mean, Munky, shout out to Munky. He's my favorite guitar player. It's just that's what made me like pick up the instrument, play. Wow. Okay, A tuning. I gotta get a 7th string. I gotta.
Right.
And so I was just.
So you touched upon that. Then we can get right into it. Some of the stuff I wanted to ask about was working with Ross Robinson. I know you had him on the Garza podcast. You guys talked a little bit about that, and then having Jonathan come on and sing on a song when Mitch was still there and stuff.
Yeah.
How did you get together with the Korn guys? And obviously, it's all local stuff here. But how did you?
Especially with you guys, I know. I know some history about them. Like now, I'm in Huntington Beach. The same thought too. I'm gonna hang out with Johnny right now. Hopefully, it's just fucking so cool, man. And I know like the Korn guys were here for a while in like early days, like in like demo days.
Yeah.
So
they lived right
cool.
down the street, downtown.
Wow.
Yeah.
So fucking gnarly, dude.
Yeah. So there's. Dave Silvera's bar was up on Main Street, the 2nd Street one. His ex-wife had Tuna Town.
Yeah.
She actually lives in this neighborhood.
Wow.
So there's
Holy shit.
a lot of history here in Huntington Beach.
Yeah, it's so gnarly, dude. Wow. Yeah, Ross, he's besides my mom and dad, my family obviously, but my 2 favorite people on the planet is Ross Robinson and Munky from Korn. Those are my 2 like. They're why I am who I am. Those records, I mean.
And so getting to know Ross from
it's a trip.
Yeah.
It's funny, like when we did that record, we lived with them for 2 months, and that's what I learned. Because also why I have a podcast. I mean, I'm a fanboy, dude. When I'm around these people, I'm like, just want to ask questions. I just feel weird. I'm like, dude, like you just go back to like that fucking 12-year-old kid in a fucking second, dude. Like or you just, whatever fucking thing I did with my band goes fucking out the window. I'm this fucking little kid right when I see those guys. And I remember one day, one of the first days I was actually talking to Ross, and I was looking at him like, oh my God, you're Ross Robinson. And then another thought popped in my head, like, you need to fucking fix this, bro. Like, you need to stop being such a fucking fanboy. Like, you need to fix this. And that's like, we go into that later, but that's created a whole other, like, you need to kind of grow up, Chris. Like, you need to, like, you know, take care of the business of the band, you know, stop ignoring numbers, like, really grow up. But making that record with Ross is also why we're here. It's why we're here. I mean, obviously, it wasn't exactly accepted in the community and in the fan base, but man, we had to make that record. We had to. And Ross really brought it back to who we were. He really like took away all the bullshit and just really like, you know, this is who you guys are. And this, it maybe might not show in the music, but behind the scenes when we left that record, like it really started like to the rewiring to really bring out the real Suicide Silence of why that band started and why we're here, what wrote The Cleansing, you know, what did, you know, the second record and Black Crown, all the wiring, he started that. And unfortunately you're human, you need extreme things to kind of shake you up, and we made a record that wasn't accepted, and it was through experimenting with Ross that really got the gears going and the rewiring of who we are inside. And you know, sometimes you go with, you know, not hating, but you go with producers that don't have your best interests in mind. They don't get the fucking thing out, like the thing that's special.
Producers definitely got to be a fifth member or even a therapist in a lot of respects.
Yeah, totally. Ross started that process, and then here comes Taylor Young that brought it out, and luckily we were fresh enough and raw enough from that whole experience, like we were ready to do it. And you know, there's sometimes you go through like a identity crisis, like you can call it, and I was definitely doing that, just to have like one of your favorite fucking people to say I was a good guitar player. I don't really go by outside influence, but when Ross Robinson does it, it really fucking hit me. It was like, oh shit, he thinks I'm good. If he does, I don't care what anybody says. Like straight, it's just like,
that's your validation.
I mean, that was like boom, and then he said some really major compliments to me that to this day I'm just like, I can't believe he said that to me, and it boasted my healthy confidence, no ego. Like he boasted myself, and he fucking flipped it to back 11 to where I was when the band first started. He fucking took all the bullshit out, flipped myself up, and then really, okay, it made me fall in love with the band again, and writing this kind of music and like really bringing it out and like not really settling for anything less.
Yeah.
So
that's great. Had cool. that moment with him, and through it, I know, as we said, Jonathan came into the studio and sang on a track. But did you get it? Have you had very many interactions now with Munky? As you mentioned, he's your dude. So
yeah, he
the reason why he picked up the guitar, rather. So.
Yeah, unfortunately or unfortunately. First of all, all those guys are class, pure fucking class, dude.
Great dudes.
You know, they really honed in like how to be a fucking legend, but yet still speak cool. Like they like really, I don't know what, I don't even know the word. Like they really got that shit down. They're the coolest guys. It started, which is a story I tell often to younger bands or as much as I can, but it's because of them actually, because when the band Suicide Silence started to come out, we were at Showcase Theater, we were at Chain Reaction, we were at Glass House. I'm seeing Hurricanrana, I'm seeing Throwdown, I'm seeing 18 Visions, like.
Damn.
This, and I brought up to Keith very like recently. I'm like, shout out to Keith Barney, the man. It was not cool to wear Korn shirts or Slipknot shirts at shows. It was a big fucking no-no, but we didn't care. I didn't care. This is who I was, and the moment the band got interviews, we were very, very vocal about how much we love Korn.
Yeah.
Now I mean, Korn deserves it, but no hate to Korn, but like I'm a little bit bitter about that. Like bands talking about Korn now, I'm like, where the fuck were you like, 20 years ago, man? Like when we're getting our fucking head kicked in. We're like even mentioning that band, but it stems from my pet peeve in music is dishonesty in music. I mean, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I truly hate it. And when a band comes out and they start naming their influences to get cred, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I can't not. It's my pet peeve. I rant my girlfriend about this a lot. Poor girl. But my thing that the music has to be real. It has to be everything. And so that goes along with small things like, talk about your favorite bands. Talk about your real favorite bands when it's not cool. When anyone could do it when it's cool, not many people do it when it's not cool. And back then, Korn was blowing up, and we were talking about them, and I guess they got wind that a band like us were talking about them when no one was talking about them. And you would think like they're a massive band, but they don't need any more people talking about them. You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
And the word got to their crew and on them that they were, we were fans. And then, like this crazy time, like you start getting some recognition. Now you're getting these crazy tours. Their first record happened. We did the first Mayhem, and then we confirmed like Slayer in Canada. So now we're in arenas. We're a fucking local band from Corona, and now we're getting like an arena tour offer. And then right after that, Chad from Mudvayne, shout out to Chad, he gave us our first full-on like amphitheater tour, and that was 2009. And we confirmed those, obviously. We're like, well, we're doing those tours. And then randomly, Korn hopped on 3 shows, and I lost my fucking shit. I remember like getting the call from a manager. I'm like, yeah, Korn's playing 3 shows now, you're playing with Korn. Congrats.
That's awesome.
That was 2009. It was like, I'll talk about like a full circle moment. And that was just insane. And then now I don't know Korn, but like I can kind of see how they're very to themselves now. So like we're playing and our drum tech, see over there? It's John Davis. He came out to see you. And I look over at John Davis is waiting to see us. I'm like, this is insane. This is fucking unreal. And it sparked, also that's where I brought my, I have Ibanez K7.
Oh, okay.
I had the gray one. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna sign my Munky.
Yeah.
And that day, John came out and saw us, and then, I don't know why, but we were drinking White Russians for that whole month. It was like a thing.
Oh yeah, I love when you pick a drink that you're just gonna drink for a while. And I went through the White Russian phase. I always call him a Caucasian. Like the dude abides, you gotta have a Caucasian.
Yeah.
Did that shit with Jimmy all the time. And
so
then,
good.
Have you ever had a Harvey Wallbanger?
I mean, you heard of it.
So it's vodka, orange juice, and vanilla Galliano. And
interesting.
We were drinking those for a while. You go through phases on your drinks, man. So yeah, I can understand. You don't need a rhyme or reason. We're having White Russians. Continue.
Yep. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, that was a drink of choice. And then the show's over, and then this was in Iowa. And then I was like, Mitch said, get your Ibanez. We're fucking going to see him right now. And I'm like, let me drink a few of these first. And then we just fucking started drinking. Yeah. And then we fucking walk over to the dressing room, and John was in the hallway. Super cool. And then he let us in the room. That was my first time ever meeting Munky, and I don't even know what the fuck I said or done. It was probably horrible and embarrassing. When you meet your idol for the first time, it's fucking too much, man. It's too fucking much.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It sucks, dude.
Yeah, I've done that. We've all put our foots in our mouths a few times here and there, you know. As your point, God. You start doing this thing called music. A lot of times emulating some of your favorite artists and stuff like that, and some of us get lucky enough to play with some of those guys, or maybe even befriend them. And it's something that you couldn't tell your 12-year-old self when they were first picking up the guitar, right?
Yeah, man.
And
So
and
cool.
a lot of times you go for that liquid courage to back it up. And I'm here to tell you something I've learned really recently. You don't need it every time.
Sure. Yeah.
It's probably better not to do it.
Really?
So, yeah. Because I think it's in that respect it becomes a bit of a crutch. I could say that now. It's like
you said the word. Yeah,
but you know, if you just went in there, you know, and just be honest. The same with music, man. Just be honest about who you are and what you're a fan of and everything like that. You know, you don't need to feel like I got to say something cool. I mean, one of the times I met the guys from Metallica was amazing. Definitely, they were incredibly nice and everything. I probably put my foot in my mouth, but I don't even realize it. You know? And now they're, you know, we've done a lot of stuff with them, consider them friends. But one time was like meeting Rex Brown. He came out to UCI, the Bren Center here in Orange County with like our first time playing that.
Wow.
Or headlining that rather. And he was in the dressing room, and our dressing room. I walked over and I was like, in my head, I was like, play it cool. But I ended up overplaying it. I just was like, hey, how's it going, man? And then like kept going.
There is that too.
I was like, in my head, I was like, well, I just don't want to fanboy out on him and like make him like feel uncomfortable back here. So I was like, hey man, it's really nice to meet you. I'm a big fan. And then I left it at that, you know?
Oh shit,
and then I kept moving, you know? So I was like,
you fucked up, man.
Man, I don't even think I was 20 years old at the time. So, you know, I was still a kid. 20? I was still a kid. Yeah, I don't think I was even old enough to drink at that point.
Wow, that's a rough age. You mean Idol?
Yeah. Oh, woe is me.
Oh my goodness, dude. I feel for you, man. It sucks.
Yeah, we all have it. I mean, it happens though. Again,
it does.
Shit happens in the past, nothing you can do about it. But if I ever see Rex again, I promise I'll be cooler. I don't actually, no, I can't promise that.
You can't, yeah. It sucks, man. Oh,
well, speaking of that, real quick, the news out right now, or last month's news, is that the Pantera lineup.
I heard, yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, man? This goes back to a lot of what we were talking about today. I mean, being in a band that has lost members. I mean, the Abbott brothers. I mean, shit, that is the band.
Yeah.
And to have that replacement and to come out and do Pantera, I guess. You know? I wasn't sure. Do you know? They're calling it Pantera or are they calling it something else?
Good question. I'm pretty sure it's what I've been hearing is Pantera. I could be wrong, but it's all happening in like real time.
Yeah,
this is happening like literally like
right now.
It's like I just got it on a call today saying you guys should do the show. I'm like, okay, I guess we'll fly down there. And then the rumor is that it's going to be this. I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Right.
And we'll confirm the show. Cool. We'll fucking fly down there. But,
are you guys supposed to be on one of the shows with them, or?
It's like a massive festival. It's like one of those like festivals.
Yeah, but I imagine that they're getting hit up for a lot of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
kind of what you do.
What you do for that thing. It's a reunion, putting those guys. Well, reunion of some kind, or to call it Pantera. I don't know how I feel about it. That's why I bring it up, because I honestly don't know, because you know, everyone, to the point of what we were talking about, everyone has to go through those losses as a band their own way, right? And it's got to feel right for you. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Again, I met Rex one time. That's the time I just spoke of.
Oh my God, he haven't fucking fixed it. That's awesome.
I never really met Phil. We've been on festivals before.
Oh my
goodness. We had one in Japan. There was a weird situation there.
Wow.
But Vinny,
so good.
We were very good friends with Vinny.
Oh, cool.
Love Vinny. Loved him to death. He was the fucking man. And never had the pleasure of meeting Dime.
Yeah.
So for me, I bring up all of that just to say, like, I'm not in that core, obviously, to know what the feelings of the families and friends and everything would be to really wage a serious opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought, and then there'll probably be a second thought, is I've been going to like a lot of shows, like more so Chain Reaction, especially because they almost closed down during the pandemic. So I've been going. They're open now. It happened. They're still there. So I've been going to a lot of shows, and it's seen this whole other generation of people that listen to heavy shit has been truly blowing my mind. Like the past month, very recently, I'm like, oh my gosh. So when I'm thinking about Pantera, I'm thinking like, it's really for this whole new generation of people that like heavy stuff, or maybe never got to see a Pantera. I never got to see Pantera. So that's gonna be like my first introduction to seeing them live. I almost did, but it was sold out, and then I went Corona and then saw Throwdown instead. It was sold out, and then I never seen Pantera. I don't know, like it's obviously they're fucking Pantera, dude. Like they have a name, like the songs. Obviously they put time into the members. I mean, you have Zach Wild, which like even when Vinny was still with us, I mean, there was talks of Zach then.
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
so
I remember hearing those rumors as well.
Sometimes he's got to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it also goes back to being a fan. I'd rather it happen than not happen.
As a fan, yeah. I mean, as a fan, I definitely want to see that stuff. Yeah, you're right.
I'd rather it happen, not happen. There's going to be so many people that haven't seen Pantera. There's people that are still finding out about Pantera today. There's someone out there in the world that's finding.
That's the brilliance of, I mean, not the brilliance. It's one of the great things about music. You know, it does live on, like well longer than you or I will. You know, music will still, hopefully, still be out there. You know, like I mean. I don't know why it would go anywhere, but you know, like people can still find it. People can still find your podcast. People will still be able to find this podcast right after.
Do you ever think about that? I do, and it's been starting to trip me out in like in a bad way. Like, you know, like,
well, if you're just now thinking about it, Chris, I got bad news for you, bro.
It's fucked up.
I embrace it. That's kind of part of the reason why I started doing this show. Is because I want that for, you know, my son, my family, my friends. I've had my friends that are, I wouldn't consider them celebrities of any kind, but I've had them on the show, you know, and stuff. Because it's like creating a really cool home video in a lot of respects for you know for future. And you know, there's many reasons why I started doing the show, obviously, but that definitely is one of them. Like I get to show who I am, what I do, what my thoughts are as an individual. You know, whether they age well or not.
That's the kicker.
But again, just like I can't control the past, I can't control the future either. So I'm just trying to live in the moment with it, and hopefully there's something there for my son when he's an adult to listen back to. Wow. You know,
that's a cool way to view it. Yeah, it's like our demos, but it's in like video form.
Right.
You know, it's like we can't do a demo and then like it's out there, like you're all in the video and it's out there on YouTube for everyone to watch.
Yeah.
You're just like shit, but it's cool. It's cool. You're right. I think it's for family. Real fans will really go in like wow and like enjoy it.
Right.
You know, so that's
and then that's one aspect of it, and then other parts of it are getting to know people like yourself or other guests that I've had on that either we've crossed paths but never really had a conversation with, or people that I've never even crossed paths with. I enjoy those ones as well. People from different walks of life and stuff. Those are a lot of fun for me, just to kind of learn from different people's perspectives. We're all in this like thing called life together, like learning each other's like and everyone's perspective is shaped for whatever reason. It's all different.
Yeah.
And you know, I find it very interesting.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you learn a lot by asking questions. It's kind of why the band's still here. Like I accepted that I'm an idiot, and just asking questions also stems to the podcast as well. Like being able to hang out with people all the time to ask questions.
Yeah.
People don't really know, like especially the guests doesn't really know sometimes. But like I ask questions like, dude, I don't fucking know, and I'm here to learn. Right. You made so many like mistakes in our career, and like I'm here to learn now. I'm talking to everybody. Yeah, I'm here to hang out with people in person. Hang out. I'm talking to the younger bands. I'm talking up-and-coming bands. I had a few, I guess, legends on. I had the experience there. I'm like, I'm talking to everybody because, you know, I'm very lucky that I have a career in such a hard industry. Like, I mean, I played death metal, dude. Like, it's heavy shit. I know it's called deathcore, but it's heavy shit, dude. Like, it's already hard enough to get past that line in the music industry. It's even harder to get into it when you're like, you want to do this kind of style,
right?
You know, and we never wavered our vision or the style, and now it's just proving it. It's just
so. I've always been curious about that too, because I definitely appreciate that style of music. You know, certain songs, certain albums that are maybe be inspirations to bands like yourself and bands like yourself. There's certain songs and albums I really love, but I got to be truthful. I'm not a big deathcore guy. I'm not a big death metal guy. I appreciate the music. I truly do.
Yeah.
But I'm not a live, eat, and breathe heavy metal guy either. Like
Totally,
I listen to punk rock, I listen to pop, I listen to country, I listen to hip hop, I listen to fucking everything.
Nice.
And I truly just love music. So
Yeah.
I guess that's a long way of asking this question, but like, do you, to this day, and has it always been rather, live, eat, and breathe this heavy style of music?
Yes. That's why it sounds that way. This, especially the past 6 months, has been really special. Not even like relating to Suicide Silence, but I mean, I couldn't have predicted this, but there's been this whole resurgence of this style of music and this whole other wave of fans. So we're talking like our first record is 15 years old, and there's like this whole new wave of fans.
Really?
And it's because of like the younger bands. We got Slade Squad killing it. We got Left to Suffer, Of Sulfur, Alona Shore, all these bands that are coming up. Science of the Swarm, all these bands were coming up. And we did a tour 2 months ago. And obviously we're talking about the self-titled. When that record came out, take the money in my bank and let's just get it out of there. Trash. People stopped coming out to the shows. People stopped buying merch. I mean, it was nuts, dude. I was living in Venice Beach. That's like, and then like, shoot, I gotta go back to Corona. Not because I didn't want, I love Corona still, but God damn, it was because like, I didn't have any fucking money, dude. And it was like this rebuilding phase. Like you're talking like, we played a show in SoCal. Drew like 100 people.
Where was this at?
This is Sly Bar.
Sly Bar, okay, yeah.
Is it still there? I heard it closed down last month.
Oh, that's a great question.
Recent,
I don't know.
like recent as
I
fuck.
honestly don't know. We done some stuff over at Sly Bar. We did a couple of like silent shows there.
So
and
sick.
Stuff. It's a rad place.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was
in
really
Fullerton.
cool. And we went. Honestly, we couldn't play anywhere else. So to go from that, and then eventually, the band started to recover, and behind the scenes, I really started. I almost quit the band, and I really took the band and brought it back to what makes the band, and then things started clicking. Things started to click, and then to go from that show, we played the House of Blues in Anaheim. It was sold out in advance. So to go from like 100 people to 1,900 people was emotional. I cried. I mean, it was like, we are lucky to be here. Trust me, I know that. We are very fortunate, but goddamn, dude, it was hell. And the work it went to rebuild.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that tour a few months ago, and you're talking, we're playing like 1,500 cap rooms, and we did half that with Mitch era. Like to do these rooms, to go from the self-titled, to go from Mitch to him dying, passing away, to the self-titled, it going away, and then rebuilding behind the scenes, and to go back into these rooms that are bigger than ever, selling a shit ton of merch. It's just like, because there's this resurgence of the deathcore scene, and I ran it up, and it's because of the younger bands. There's just new fans, there's old fans that are coming out, there's old supporters of Suicide Silence. There's so much going on, and it's because I love this fucking music. I played it when there was no deathcore 20 years ago. I played that shit when no one was playing it. I loved it. It's because it's in my body. That's the sound in my body. It's drop A. It's that dirty tone. It's fucking 210 bump chug with a little bit of tremolo up here. I'm really killing shredding, but it's who I am. I did it when there was no money. I did it when there was a big, some records came out. Whitechapel came out, killed it. Job for a Cowboy. That Was Murder. Really great bands came out, and the whole genre exploded. And then we started making some money. I looked up, cool, it's money, great. I mean, I could buy a cheeseburger and a burrito now, great. But I did it when there was no money, money.
That was never the inspiration.
No money.
It was just part. It was just part of you. That's the
part
music.
Of it.
Yeah.
Part of it, and to go back, and there was no money again, and to rebuild that to where like people are buying merch again. People are proud to wear. I'm proud to wear the logo again, which that says a lot, and it's because I love it. I love the genre of music, and the older I get, the more I love it. And I obviously, again, I couldn't have predicted this second wave of music coming back, and it's going up. Like a band like us should not draw that many people, and we're trying to book another tour, and the rooms they're trying to put us in are just fucking ridiculous. And it's because of this resurgence. And you gotta thank YouTube, social media. TikTok's been killing it, depending on how you use it. And the bands that are coming up are they're resetting the bar because it was low for a while.
Yeah.
And now bands like us I'm inspired.
You're inspired by the new bands.
It's
That's cool, man.
I'm hanging out with these guys, and you know, I'm a Suicide. I'm 36. I will admit I'm jaded. I'm a little bit jaded sometimes. Even losing it and being successful and doing the whole cycle, having a career. You know, I mean, you get older. You know, I'm slower. You know, I'm just slower. I'm starting to forget things. I'm headbanging. I'm forgetting things now.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just like
You're still headbanging like that too, man? Or you're having to dial it back a little bit.
okay, that's the thing. We go harder now because I have this thing where like, in order to keep up what you did in the past or keep up with the younger bands, you have to do more.
Okay.
As far as work and as far as like the live show, to me, my bar is Korn. I see those guys, I see Munky going crazy. I'm like, okay, you're fucking 50 something and you're doing that. I have no excuse. Mm-hmm. So I still go crazy. We have some shots and we go off. I go home for a week, and you know, when you go home, you're like all fucking like your brain's like fucking. It's like ricocheting constantly. Mm-hmm. I'm doing that, drinking coffee and trying to get back, but still going hard. Still.
That's awesome, man.
And but it's because I love it. It's just it's that simple.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I did it when it's been 20 years, and I still play it. I love it. It's because I don't know. It's just what I am. It's who I am. You know.
Right.
A 90s new metal kid.
Yeah.
And I'm a rhythm guitar player. I like playing on the first fret. I stay right here. That's it. That's who I am. That's what I love.
Right.
So I'm the same guy now.
A lot of things can change over your life. Going back to that, we talked a lot about life here, but a lot of things can shape the way you mature and learn things and stuff. But this is something that is still through and through to your core. And I think that's
who I am.
That's fucking awesome, man. It really shows the passion on it, man. It's
Thanks, Johnny.
cool, man.
Thanks, man.
So you got the new record coming out.
Yes.
Do we know a release date yet or anything like that? I know we got August 31st. We got, what's the title of the track coming out?
So we're releasing the title track, You Must Die, coming off our record. Remember You Must Die? That will be dropping. Oh, shit. I don't know if I should say it here. Yeah, okay. It'll be March 10th. That's the date we're looking at. But the first single is definitely dropping August 31st.
If you change the date on it or anything like that, we'll just do an overdub like old Kung Fu movie style. Don't worry about it.
But for sure, the first single of that record, the new record, is dropping August 31st. We're all excited, and you know, it takes a lot for me to get excited, and I'm excited.
Dude.
You know, obviously bands say like, how can I ruin this podcast right now? Okay, but bands like say like, you know, it's our heaviest yet, or it's our best, but I'm not gonna say that, but it's taken a long time for us to get back here.
Yeah.
To get back to where we were mentally and to really be Suicide Silence again. And personally, to be with the band members, like I'm just so happy that we're doing what we want to do, and it's taken us a career to get here, and we haven't been here in years, and it took us unfortunately hell to get here, but I'm really excited for people to hear what we've been doing. It's actually what we want people to hear. It's us, us, and it's so fucking ridiculous how hard it is to get your band sound onto a record.
Yeah,
it's so fucking hard, dude. Well, it shouldn't be that hard, you know what I'm saying? Except with the fucking technology, what the fuck, man? Like, well,
there's still some guys out there that prefer just putting it in a room, hitting that button, and letting it ride.
Yeah, so. Yeah, man. Yeah, we're all. It's more us than ever, and I'm proud to still be in the band. We're we're so lucky to have a career in a genre and have to be a part of this resurgence in second wave. That you know, people have to say in the end. The people have to say, the fans have to say, and we've been accepted into this second wave, and people are just now hearing about us or always known about us. But the whole thing. So we're just lucky to still be here, fucking killing it, and we're all excited for people to hear the new record and a new song coming out in when was it drop?
You said, when does this drop?
Yeah.
I don't know, probably. I don't know, man. Probably
soon.
maybe next week or the week after.
Cool. All right. So in about
pretty quick.
Few weeks.
Just in time for everyone to take out the excerpts of us talking about Pantera and everything. So that'd be cool. That's where I ruined the podcast right there.
Appreciate that, Johnny. I appreciate that, man. Holy shit, dude. Thanks, man.
Man, well, I appreciate the time. It's so great to see you.
You too, Johnny.
See you guys doing well and
Thanks,
still
Johnny.
have the passion for everything, man. It's really cool to see, man. Cheers.
Cheers, man. Johnny. Johnny's on the wagon.
Yeah,
so,
I got
congrats,
a non-alcoholic, but yeah, it's all good.
Congrats, man. All right, guys, check out SS on the socials, Garza Podcast on YouTube, audio, all that stuff. And thank you for watching, listening.
That's it,
Cool.
man. Cheers.
Cheers.